If you guys haven't noticed already, Thundurus has taken over the raid scene in Pokemon Go. Thundurus is basically like Tornadus, but with a little bit of a palette swap going on and an electric subtyping. Overall, the raid is pretty easy to beat, but what are the best counters, right? And how good is it in raids and PvP? Well, in this video, I'm going to be letting you guys know what the best counters are to the Thundurus Raid, giving you some details on the duo, and I'm going to let you know how good it is in the meta. So let's get into it. So here we have a graph of the Thundurus Raid counters, all at level 40, against a Tier 5 Thundurus Incarnate Forme raid, all movesets of Thundurus averaged, no dodging, with best friendship. Now if you've never seen a SwagTips graph before, the y-axis here is damage per second, which is basically the speed at which your Pokemon beats down the raid boss. So the higher up you are, the more powerful your Pokemon's going to be. The x-axis here is TDO, which is total damage output. It's basically the average amount of damage your Pokemon's going to deal to the raid boss before it goes down. A good way to think about it is a more comprehensive version of tankiness. So the more to the right your Pokemon is, the more tanky it's going to be. Also, to validate this DPS even further, I have a duo DPS cutoff line. So if your Pokemon are above the duo DPS cutoff line, that suggests that you may be prepped to do the duo if you're with a trainer of similar or greater power. Similarly, I also have a double relobby avoid TDO line. If your Pokemon is to the right of this line, that suggests that you'll be able to avoid having to relobby more than 2 times during the duo. Once again, with a trainer of similar or greater power on your team. If you are planning on using this graphic to prepare yourself for the duo, I just want to caution you, this is with all movesets averaged. So the Brick Break moveset, for example, might be a little bit harder to duo. This graph might not fully display that. For that reason, if you are looking to do the duo, I definitely recommend checking out the Duo Raid Guide on GamePress, which will give you those additional details on how to do the duo. So definitely worth checking out, link in the description. And with that out of the way, it should be self-evident which Pokemon are the best counters to this raid. All the way to the right, we have Rockrucker Hyperior, and then all the way at the top, we have Rampardos. Now you might be curious, what's with these spooky, creepy Shadow Pokemon here? Well, this is Shadow Smackdown Tyranitar and Shadow Weavile. Well, if you're not familiar, Pokemon Go recently updated the game to give Shadow Pokemon a damage bonus. So these Shadow Pokemon are dealing 20% more damage to the raid boss, which is the equivalent of a weather boost. They also take more damage from the raid boss, so it kind of balances out a little bit, but at the end of the day, we know that the bottom line is damage for these raids, and these guys are definitely dealing more damage. In fact, Weavile is dealing so much more damage that it's actually increasing its TDO despite losing some effective tankiness. If you want more details on which Pokemon are benefiting from this Shadow bonus, I did a whole video on it earlier today, so link up above and in the description to that. Right now, I'd have to say, don't power up these Shadow Pokemon unless you really want to. I highly expect Niantic to nerf this because, I mean, Weavile is now as powerful as Rampardos. That's kind of crazy, and that's not to mention Smackdown Tyranitar here. Then, after the Shadow bonus Pokemon, I guess, Mamoswine and Terrakion are also doing really good for this raid. Now, you may notice with Terrakion and Glaceon, there's a little thing above their head. Yeah, that's the Best Buddy ribbon. If you're not familiar, some Pokemon benefit from Best Buddy specific breakpoints. So if you have a 14 or a 15 attack IV, and the Pokemon's maxed out, and it's your Best Buddy, the extra CP that you get from that allows them to do an even higher amount of damage in raids. Now, not every single Pokemon receives this specific bonus, so of course I have a video highlighting all that. Once again, up in the corner here and down in the description if you want to get learned up on the best Buddy Pokemon. Now, as far as the points here on the graph go, these are different level cutoffs. So the main Troze is going to be the base Pokemon at level 40, and this here is like Terrakion at level 35, then level 30, then level 25. Usually I show the breakpoints of the Pokemon, so the specific levels where they cut off and get that extra level of significance, but unfortunately Go Battle Sim is kind of broken right now, so I had to use Pokebattler. Pokebattler doesn't let me look at all those individual specific levels, so I can only go by each level of 5. So in a way, you can still see the cutoffs, the gains that your Pokemon gets, their performance at these different levels, but it doesn't specifically correlate with breakpoints. Here on the screen, I have some breakpoints that you might be interested in, and when the GamePress article is up on Thundurus Incarnate Forme, which will be linked in the description, should be up later tonight or tomorrow, there'll be even more details on breakpoints and bulk points for this specific raid. So sorry for the little drop in quality here, but it's the best I can do right now with Go Battle Sim being broken. I think in the future, if Go Battle Sim continues to have issues, I could use the Pokebox feature on Pokebattler to force it to show me some specific breakpoints. That sounds like a lot of work, but hey man, if it's what I gotta do, then it's what I gotta do. By the way, I forgot to mention, you can also obtain Thundurus without even raiding. Yeah, in the Go Battle League for the Pokemon rewards, it seems like Thundurus has been added to the pool there, so if you just win out in the Go Battle League, you have the opportunity to capture Thundurus. Now that we know how to best beat down Thundurus, just how good is it in the raid and trainer battle metas? I can tell you, it's not very good. Not very good at all. Not only do the new Shadow Pokemon completely clown and outshine Thundurus Incarnate Forme, but Thundurus Incarnate Forme will always be outdone by its Therian Forme. All these Genie Pokemon, Tornadus, Thundurus, and then the next one, Landorus, they have Therian forms, which are basically like the attack modes of these Pokemon. So Thundurus Incarnate Forme is always going to live in the shadow of its Therian form in both raids and in PvP. Now, as far as the Therian form is concerned, that thing isn't too exciting either. Right now, Niantic has it a little bit shafted in the move pool department, so unless there's a Game Master update, I really don't expect much from Thundurus Therian Forme. And that's like, it's not even a shadow form right now, so like what Pokemon are good that aren't shadow Pokemon? Know what I'm saying? So what? So Thundurus Incarnate Forme is just kind of a trophy Pokemon, but hey man, each weekend we have a new raid event going on, so I don't think we're going to have to worry about it too much. We'll have plenty of other more interesting Pokemon to raid. By the way, if you're not familiar about this whole March Madness, every single weekend's an event type thing, I also have a video on that too, so check it out. And that's basically all you need to know about countering Thundurus and its use in the meta. If you got any questions on this content, comment below, let me know what's up, and I'll be happy to help you out. And if you enjoyed this content and you want to see more like it, well, make sure to subscribe to SwagTips. And with all that out of the way, what are the best counters? Well, we got Wrecker. Wow.